I've been here for 11 years now at the Birch Aquarium, and I started here in our beautiful kelp tank. We are lucky enough to be one of 8 aquariums in the entire world that can exhibit live kelp. Having the ability for a person to go into an aquarium and see what they wouldn't ever be able to see is pretty huge. And giving that connection to someone to be able to put something that they've read about in a book to something they can actually see and physically put together, I think is a big deal to give to someone who's never seen a fish before or never seen a sea cucumber or held something squishy before in their hands. And it really brings home what they're really trying to think about when we're talking about conservation and sustainability and asking people to worry about the ocean creatures and the ocean conditions that are going on out there.
Oh, that one? That's so cool. That is very nice.
I get a chance to do some very awesome conservation work with both kelp forest ecology here in our temperate location and sunflower sea stars that are from our Pacific Northwest area here in California as well. It's not so much the warming of the waters that's causing the kelp to disintegrate, but the warming of the waters has caused a major predator to disintegrate, and the sea star wasting disease has taken out the sunflower sea star, which is no longer eating the sea urchins, which is decimating the kelp forest. So my inspiration is trying to bring back the kelp up and down the entire western seaboard and being able to see if here in Southern California I can crack the code of how to grow it in an aquarium and be able to stop collecting it from the wild. And then we, as one of the largest aquariums in California, has the largest population of sunflower sea stars. So we've been able to help that program by providing genetics. If I could impart just sustainability to community and to students here and to the general public that comes through to see things they can do in their life to help keep our world a little more sustainable and around for a little while longer.
Awesome. I love it. I saw your brain. I was like, I did it.
The first scuba dive I ever went on was at space camp. They let you feel what it's like in space. They put you on hookah in this giant tube and you go down and you swim around and you come back out. And I remember after that being like, oh, I have to learn math? No, I don't want to go to space anymore, but I still want to do that thing where I was flying. And that's when I realized that I could go scuba diving in college. I was like, I remember that and I really liked it. But it is exactly like space. Jess and I are both very small women, and just in our own actual program is some very large men. So it's very interesting for us to have this difference in not just personalities and sexes, but sizes as well, and we all bring our own strengths to this team. And so I think with Jess and I being part of such a strong group and being able to bring our strengths to a group that supports us as who we are, women, divers, scientists, everything in between has been good for us as well and allowed us to, I guess, be a good inspiration for other women who are coming up in this industry, because it's not easy. Jess is my inspiration. I want to be like her all the time. No one can be as bad as Jess. Man, she's awesome.
Maybe I can actually say my title correctly. It's such a mouthful. Okay. Jessica Halsey, Marine and Field Safety Research Training Coordinator. So essentially my job is kind of helping with logistics and training for the scientific diving class, the small boats class, all of the first aid and CPR that we do here, and then any additional trainings, and then also sort of on the field work and helping researchers get what they need to go out in the field.
And then we found out that they have these little windows of shockable rhythm, and we're like, because you over-oxygenate them, it'll feel that obstruction and it'll get that back pressure.
I got certified as a diver kind of late. This wasn't something that my family, they weren't really water people. The day that we finished our certification, they were looking for somebody to help them out. And so I got a job in the industry, which meant that I was working for a dive boat, which meant that I was diving with an instructor, which meant that I went from open water to dive master in about 6 months. Not recommended necessarily, but I got a lot of experience.
There's an easy way.
Marine biology as a field and conservation has lots and lots of women. So I think that now we have a better sense of like just belonging here than we used to, where it felt a little antagonistic at times, or at least that you had to defend your role. Right now, things are shifting a little bit. I will be a little bit sad if we go backwards on that, because I look back on it now and think, oh my goodness, I can't believe that we were all just cool with it. I think growing up, my heroes were sort of these athletic women or explorers that were, doing world first and world best. The first woman to surf Waimea, or like Lynn Hill's an awesome climber. I think now that I'm older, I have a better appreciation for like, even though I know that Scripps has engendered a lot of firsts and bests, like there's something to be said for everybody tackling their own personal firsts and bests. And I get to watch my students tackle, overcome their own challenges to do something that they've never done before, or get better at a skill that they want to perfect. And I think that that's something that should engender our admiration, and like I get to witness it, which is pretty cool as part of my job every day.
Halka Hewanatet, Coach Jackson. Hi, my name is Coach Jackson. I am the docent here at Scripps Institution of Oceanography. My job is to seek, teach, and communicate science to the public, and I'm also the founder of Coastal Defenders. Coastal Defenders is a social, climate, and restorative justice organization dedicated to creating equitable pathways in STEAM, ocean and land guardianship, and aquatics.
Do you see lots of fish and sharks?
Yes!
That's so interesting.
It is so interesting.
Have you seen a pufferfish?
So every year in K through 12 education, I would get excited to learn about Indigenous contributions, and every year at the end of the year, I would leave incredibly disappointed. So by the time junior year of my high school rolled around, I started to take initiative and redirect my energy and efforts into creating independent research projects that highlighted Indigenous contributions.
Every oyster can filter out almost 50 gallons of water a day, and oysters are so multi-purpose, and we're all about how can we use something that's naturally occurring in the planet to protect it.
Scripps has always been about teaching in the environment and outside of the classroom or outside of the lab. And if we do that, then we're helping to deconstruct stereotypes and make science more accessible. Indigenous science isn't taught within 4 walls anyway, and it's the most applicable way to gain social and emotional learning skill sets that will really benefit both the student and the teacher and the planet. I always knew the second part of my career after my background in military and youth athletic coaching would be to return to my Indigenous activism roots. And I realized I really needed to create safe spaces for folks who were aspiring allies. Finding your crew of folks is critically important. And when they're in this space, because I feel safe, my shoulders drop, my heart is beating slower, and I'm able to literally focus on the materials at hand.
This is what they mean when they say grassroots.
But it was so great.
It's only been a very recent amount of time that we've been able to even have role models. And when we have role models, and we can see ourselves in these spaces, and they become inherently more accepting, right? If we know that other people have gone before us. Diversity isn't just like this feel-good term, right? There is like tremendous evidence and research that factually stipulates that diverse opinions create better results.
We have to remember that this border is not porous for all of us, no? I've been to 60 different countries. I've seen the way different people all over the world, whether it's the way they do marine science, the way they show empathy, the way they eat, the way they live. I really think that all of that makes us stronger, not weaker. Those are internal waves. Those are all flicks of internal waves. Those are manifestations of underwater currents at the surface of the ocean. I'm an oceanographer, and I have been collaborating at Scripps for about a decade now with the kelp program. My position is in the Department of Biological Oceanography at CICESE, which is a federal research institute in Mexico. I've been really blessed, from the time I was a child to having incredible, successful mentors. My mom, got her undergrad and graduate degree as a woman at that time, which most women didn't do. My parents, as refugees, always told us when we were much younger that, and because it happened to them, that no matter what you have, it can be taken away from you, including the shirt on your back, but nobody can ever take what's in your mind. The Kamikowski line, the typical temperature here, nitrate here. This is from one of the first papers I published now. In my last year of college, I had the opportunity to work on the West Bank. So during the sieges in some of the towns on the West Bank, we would go in and help with bilirubin or help with deliveries, deliver insulin, that kind of stuff. The real life of going to medical school, being on a medical campus, did not sort of jive with my reason for wanting to do what I wanted to do. And so I left. I left a very good graduate program at USC and went to Cabo San Lucas to go surfing. After traveling in Mexico for a while, moved to a small island in Mexico called Todos Santos Island, which is very famous for its big waves, and I helped run the surf camp there. The surf camp organizers had seen that the quality of the wave had declined because the kelp forest had died. So I started becoming really interested in sort of the link between the kelp forest and the quality of the waves and the ecotourism. And that transitioned, interestingly enough, to me doing a PhD in oceanography, focused on kelp. This, we think, is a coastally track wave forced by the wind, because it's evanescent when you go offshore. Especially as women, I think you're always riddled with self-doubt, and you're always questioning, wondering, is this right? What am I doing? To tell you the truth, I feel that every day. But I would say when I take a step back and surround myself with people who share my vision, and then when I look for what brings me joy, I would say those are the moments that I go, no, it's okay, and I'm in the right place, and I'm doing the right thing.
And along the way, you can inspire folks to do the same, right? I always say Coastal Defenders is not just about opening the door for the next person. It's about opening the door, putting our hands out to bring them through the door, and then us both going back and holding the door open for the next person. And then all three of us are walking through the door in perpetuity.